Hey guys, this year, Mickey Mouse Works turned 25 years. But, on today's episode, I'll be reviewing the 2001 to 2003 Disney series. And this one is House of Mouse. This show is the biggest crossover series ever existed in the history of Disney cartoons. The show was originally aired on ABC, UPN, Toon Disney, Disney Channel, and Disney Cinemagic. The basic premise of the show focuses on Mickey Mouse and his friends operating a dinner theater club in downtown Toontown. Considered a popular venue by the residents, the club is frequented by a host of characters from Disney animated properties. A feature of the series is that every film produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation prior to the start of the series, between and including Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Atlantis, the Lost Empire, are featured in the series. Such characters mostly appear as paying guests of the club, and would often have speaking roles, although a number sometimes operate as performers for the club. Each episode focuses on a story involving Mickey and his associates facing an issue during an evening's operation of the club, and their efforts to overcome it. The most common plot for episodes involves the group dealing with a serious problem caused by Pete and his attempts to shut down the club and use it for his own gains. These stories, often involving farcical mishaps, tended to act as a wraparound for the cartoon shorts played in between scenes, the theme of the story contributing towards the storylines of the cartoon shorts shown in the episode. Cartoon shorts played in episodes focused on elements from classic theatrical cartoons of the 1930s, 1940s and 1950s, though most were reruns from Mickey Mouse Works, and featured a simple story. Some stories are set to a specific theme for a specific character, but with differing scenarios. For example, one set focused on Mickey seeking to rescue Minnie from Pete, against a different obstacle in each short, while another set focused on Pluto's efforts to get Mickey his paper while facing a different problem. The writing for the show is mostly pretty decent, as while it can be bumpy at times, it does have a very neat concept that's executed pretty well. The pacing is mostly pretty good. There are some decently funny jokes and bits, and it is neat that the show repurposed both some of the classic Disney cartoons from the 1930s-50s as well as most of the cartoons made for Mickey Mouse Works. And on top of that, it is really awesome to see all these various Disney characters from the movies interacting with each other and just being in the same room. It's like seeing all the various characters together in Roger Rabbit or the old Cartoon Network bumpers. While not every episode is a banger, there are a decently good chunk of them that are pretty solid, such as the Stolen Cartoons, The Three Caballeros, Donald's Lamp Trade, Pluto Saves the Day, Max's Embarrassing Date, Ladies' Night, Dennis the Duck, Suddenly Hades, House of Crime, House of Scrooge, Chip and Dale, and the direct-to-video movie House of Villains. The show does have a pretty decent sense of humor, as while not every joke gets a laugh, there are a good chunk that do, like some of the witty banter and dialogue between the characters, some of the wacky shenanigans they get into, some of the gags and slapstick, some of the fourth wall breaks, and the occasional adult joke. Another aspect of the humor that works is that sometimes there are some moments where the characters roast each other. The animation is what it is for an early 2000s TV show, and in that aspect, it is pretty well done. The characters all have their classic and iconic designs and some decently fluid movements. The backgrounds are decently well crafted, and there is some decent effects work put into it. The characters in the show are their same, likable selves that we've come to know and love, and even though they do act out of character sometimes, they still have their great dynamics and chemistry, on top of having a key part to play in the club, such as the wide-eyed host Mickey Mouse, the short-tempered co-host Donald Duck, the clumsy but lovable waiter Goofy, the supportive planner Minnie Mouse, the kind-hearted reservation clerk Daisy Duck, the antagonistic landlord Pete, the loyal dog and club mascot Pluto, the mischievous Chip and Dale, the slick Mortimer, and it's also pretty neat that the show has some of the more obscure characters featured and having roles in the club, like Max as the valet Parker, Clarabelle Cow as the gossip monger, and Horace Horsecollar as the tech engineer. But did they have to use the Quack Pack versions of Huey, Dewey, and Louie and have them spoofing popular musicians and bands at the time. On top of having Mickey and gang featured, the show also features tons of characters from the Disney animated features from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs all the way up to Atlantis, the Lost Empire. And another things that's cool about this is that they managed to get most of the original actors back to reprise their roles. One notable highlight about this is all the villains teaming up to take over the club after Pete winds up being in charge of the place. One thing I will say though, and this may be more nitpicking, but I wish they used other characters from other Disney properties outside of just the ones from the Disney animated features. Yeah, Roxanne was prominently featured in an episode, there was a brief cameo from Pepper Ann, and there was a quick reference to the Haunted Mansion, but that's pretty much it. Wouldn't it have been cool to see characters from the Pixar films, the live-action films, the TV shows, the theme parks, or even some of the video games? The voice acting is very well done, and the voice actors all managed to deliver some solid performances like Wayne Allwine as Mickey, Russi Taylor as Minnie, Tony Anselmo as Donald and his nephews, Tress MacNeille as Daisy, Chip, and Dale, Bill Farmer as Goofy, Pluto, and Horace, Jason Marsden as Max, April Winchell as Clarabelle, Jim Cummings as Pete, and many more. And like I said before, the show got many of the original actors back from the movies to reprise their roles as their respective characters, such as Catherine Beaumont as Alice, Jodie Benson as Ariel, Pat Carroll as Ursula, Samuel Lee Wright as Sebastian, Paige O'Hara as Belle, Robbie Benson as Beast, Jerry Orbach as Lumiere, David Ogden Stiers as Cogsworth, Richard White as Gaston, Scott Weinger as Aladdin, Linda Larkin as Jasmine, Jonathan Freeman as Jafar, Gilbert Gottfried as Iago, Ernie Sabella as Pomade, Tate Donovan as Hercules, Susan Egan as Meg, James Woods as Hades, and Ming-Na Wen as Mulan. And for characters who got new actors due to the original ones being either dead or unavailable, the replacements they managed to get do a decently solid job sounding like the original actors. The music provided for the series is decently well composed, and does capture the show's lighthearted and comedic tone. Overall, while not amazing by any means, this is a mostly pretty solid show that is worth checking out, especially for major Disney fans. It even has its own movies during the running of the show. This show has its own direct-to-video movies released on VHS and DVD from Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment, Walt Disney Pictures, and Disney Television Animation. Mickey's Magical Christmas, Snowden at the House of Mouse in 2001, and Mickey's House of Villains in 2002. These two movies are great, and so, for my final verdict for this show, I'm giving this show a 9.5 out of 10. This show is one of the greatest Disney crossover shows ever existed in the Disney cartoon history.